The John Eagle family of dealerships is proud to sponsor School Zone Dallas, a showcase of DISD's successful commitment to prepare all students to graduate with the knowledge and skills to become productive and responsible citizens.
Welcome to Emalie Rangel Young Women's Leadership School. Established 4 years ago in the Dallas Independent School District, this all-girls campus is the first single-gender public school ever in the state of Texas.
And it's already making an impact. Young women here receive an education with a major focus on math, science, and leadership skills. And we're proud to say that this year the school was named exemplary by the Texas Education Agency.
In fact, 15 Dallas ISD schools were deemed exemplary and 36 recognized by the TEA. More than 50 schools were honored. Now that's impressive.
Throughout the next 30 minutes, we'll share with you more of the many exciting things going on now in Dallas ISD.
Right here on
School Zone Dallas.
Hi, I'm Alvaro, a senior at Booker T. Washington High School for the Performing and Visual Arts.
And I'm Marshaye, a senior at the School for Business and Management at the Emalie Townview Magnet Center. Welcome to a brand new episode of School Zone Dallas, the show that takes you behind the scenes of the Dallas Independent School District.
And today, we're coming to you from Emalie Rangel Young Women's Leadership School. This combination middle school and high school is set to graduate its first class next year.
College readiness is a big focus at this school. That's why they have a full-time college advisor on staff to help students with their choice of schools and scholarships. We'll have much more to tell you later on in the show about the school.
But for now, let's get started with our first story. In observance of the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday, Dallas ISD students paid tribute to his legacy in a wonderful oratorical program. Here's Isaac and Fredricka to tell you all about it.
Thanks, Marshaye and Alvaro. When you think of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., what comes to mind? Civil rights activist, Nobel Peace Prize recipient, his I Have a Dream speech? It's all of this and much more. These students are gearing up to compete in the 16th annual Martin Luther King Jr. Oratory Competition.
We think the competition is important to the students because, one, it helps them learn about Martin Luther King. I think it teaches them that any one person can have a major impact on our country, and also gets them a chance to practice their skills in front of a crowd, which is pretty tough, and they do a great job at that.
Students from 8 Dallas ISD schools were given the opportunity to research, write, and give a speech telling what opportunities they will have in life because of Dr. King.
My parents are from Africa, and I compared that love to the life we have in America today.
The students are judged on a broad range of criteria, from content, delivery, their presentation, their oratory skills. Judges use their individual decisions on enunciation, presence, their ability to work with the audience, eye contact, etc.
Finalists were selected from the preliminary contest at each of the 8 schools, and those chosen are now coming to the final competition. Here's Fredricka to tell us more.
Thanks, Isaac. I'm here at the 16th annual Martin Luther King Jr. Oratory Competition, where the contest between these 8 schools is really heating up. You can feel the tension build as these students anxiously await their turn.
I'm a little nervous, but I practiced my speech, so I think I will do well.
I practiced my speech for a couple of weeks, but I think I'll do fine.
Blood, sweat, and tears have been shed in order for me to have the opportunity to receive an education and to be a productive individual in our society.
Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere, as stated by Dr. King. I I recognize that Dr. King's efforts have led to my people and others moving up the highway to success.
Because of Dr. King, my family and I are able to live wherever we want. Because
many of my friends are African American. Marcus Gardner is one of those friends. So is Dionysia Scott and Emil O'Brien. We are different in many ways, yet we are the same in many more.
I am somebody, not just anybody wishing everybody not to become a nobody. Dr. King's dream is not just a dream. It has helped all races in making this world a better place to live.
If I were president today, I would promise you that just like Dr. King, I would stand up for what's right for all Americans, no matter their race or color.
Oh, this is so exciting. Shh, let's listen. They're about to announce the winners.
The 2008 winner of the Martin Luther King Jr. Oratory Competition is Dalton Sherman, Charles Rice Learning Center.
That was nerve-wracking. It looks like Dr. King has opened up a world of opportunities for these students. As you can see, they are all winners. Way to go, guys. For School Zone Dallas, I'm Fredricka.
You're watching School Zone Dallas, and we're both students in the Dallas Independent School District. Here at Irma Lerma Rangel Young Women's Leadership School, a strong emphasis is given to the fields of math and science.
Last fall, physics and geometry students took part in a citywide robotics competition and are already looking forward to competing again next year.
In addition, 6th graders recently competed in the Winston Science Fair. This 15-foot tall tower made out of popsicle sticks showcased the students' engineering and architectural skills.
There is no shortage of unique opportunities for students here at Irma Lerma Rangel, as well as for the 158,000 students found throughout the Dallas Independent School District.
For our next story, we're off to Washington, D.C. as students from the Yvonne A. Ewell Townview Magnet Center embark on an incredible field trip, one in which they get to experience the inner workings of our national government firsthand. Here's Karen with the story.
Thanks, guys. A couple of years ago, I was among a group of students who participated in a program called Close Up. What is Close Up? It's a week of discovery and adventure in our nation's capital, Washington, D.C.
Washington, D.C. Woo!
But this is way more than a sightseeing trip. The students participate in workshops, debates, and discussions devoted to all aspects of American politics and government.
Cutting off the border, that doesn't mean it's going to be closed and there's not going to be any more immigrants. It just means we're going to regulate the ones that come in.
Close Up is a program for high school students designed to teach kids not only just about our nation's government and our system of democracy, but also to show the kids that they can make a difference as an individual.
Every person, no matter what age or race, gender, you can have a say in what goes on in your country and in your community, anywhere in the world.
The majority of the community raises its standard of living, then the whole state or the city as a whole can raise its standard of living and raise its poverty line until it's obsolete.
This year we had students from Utah and Arizona and also from the Micronesian Islands, which was a particularly good experience because these were places that our students knew nothing at all about the cultures there.
The students were busy from early morning until late at night because there is so much to see and do in Washington, D.C.
This is our third stop of the day. We're now at the Lincoln Memorial. As you can see, the huge statue of Abraham Lincoln. Once again, we're having a great time here on the Close Up organization. And now we're about to get our activity and find out what we're going to be doing here.
The highlight of the week for most was the visit to Capitol Hill. Once again, this was not your typical sightseeing tour. The tour guide was a staff person from Congresswoman Etta Bernice Johnson's office.
We got to see the Senate, the House of Representatives, and the Capitol Hill. We took a tour and we got to meet with Congresswoman Etta Bernice Johnson.
Congresswoman Etta Bernice Johnson was able to spend an entire hour with the kids. If you can get an hour out of a United States congressperson, then you know you're important. And she treated us like we were important.
But it was not all work for the students. A certain time was allotted each day for the purpose of just having fun.
I love DC!
Even though I took the close-up trip 2 years ago, I still have wonderful memories of the places I saw and the people I met. And I strongly encourage students to get close up with our nation's capital. For more information, visit the website on your screen or talk to your counselor. For School Zone Dallas, I'm Karen.
A big congratulations goes out to the Amelia Earhart Learning Center and Henry W. Longfellow Career Exploration Academy for being named 2007 No Child Left Behind Blue Ribbon Schools, one of the most prestigious education awards in the country. Blue Ribbon Schools are honored for helping students to achieve at very high levels and for making significant progress in closing the achievement gap. School Zone Dallas congratulates the Amelia Earhart Learning Center and Henry W. Longfellow Career Exploration Academy for this outstanding accomplishment. This is an exciting time for the district because Dallas ISD is on the road to Bro, a goal set forth by the superintendent and board of trustees to win the prestigious Bro Prize, an annual recognition of the best urban school district in the country by the year 2010. Dallas Achieves, a joint coalition of district staff and the community, has been created to achieve this honor. New efforts and realignment are underway throughout the district, and the full impact of Dallas Achieves is just starting to begin.
Recently, we were proud to announce that through the generous help of the community, $10 million has been raised to support the initiative. Involved were Texas Instruments, the Harold Simmons Foundation, and the W.W. Caruth Jr. Foundation of the Communities Foundation of Texas, each contributing $1 million to Dallas Achieves.
We had the honor of representing district students at the event. And again, we can't thank our civic leaders enough for their generosity and support.
For our next story, let's join Kirby, who will bring us up to speed on a one-of-a-kind learning opportunity for Dallas ISD students through the joint efforts of Junior Achievement and Capital One.
Thanks, Alvaro and Marshaye. You know, most of us can't wait to grow up and be on our own. But what a lot of us may not realize is that being an adult can be challenging, to say the least, especially when it comes to money management. There's the mortgage payment, the insurance payment, the car payment. The list goes on and on. Recently, some Dallas ISD students from E.B. Comstock and Marsh Middle Schools got the chance to experience adulthood firsthand, with bills, budgets, mortgages, and everything that goes with it.
This is an entrepreneurship class, and as business owners, they need to be able to figure out profits and losses and keep track of their business expenses, so this will come in handy greatly, because this is some of the same skills that they'll need for business ownership. For the past 2 weeks, we've worked on a special budgeting project where we had the Junior Achievement Workbook, and we went day by day through different worksheets in order to prepare for today's project.
The Mobile Finance Park was created by Junior Achievement and Capital One because the organizations believe that basic money management skills are an important part of being an adult.
Once the students arrive, each student receives their own debit card with their own life situation. So you might be 24, married with 2 kids, or you might be single or a single parent making $68,000 a year or making $19,000 a year. So it's definitely a lot of fun when they get the life situation. Then they actually come out here in the park and they get to collect option sheets of making their budget. There's 18 different options that they have to choose throughout the day. So it might be what kind of house you're gonna buy, what kind of car, utilities, entertainment, food, clothing, everything that an adult has to make decisions on in the month. The students make their budget based on these options, and then they have to go back and balance their budget, and we won't let them leave unless they have $0 or more dollars left in their bank account. You cannot be negative and leave Mobile Finance Park.
I'm budgeting for a house, a phone, and furniture.
We're big supporters of education, and financial literacy, it's a paramount to us, particularly when we try to reach out into the community. We also try for our employee base and our associates to give back to the community. This gives them an avenue to do that.
Well, there's a multitude of benefits that the students will receive after the Junior Achievement Mobile Finance Part. Not only is it just heavy math skills and reinforcing a lot of the things that the teachers are teaching in the classroom, but also it brings the classroom into a real life setting. So many students, they say, when am I ever going to use this in real life? Well, this is real life. This is when you're going to use it. This is where you're making your budget as an adult.
One of the most important benefits is they're learning life skills. Many of the students had no idea how to complete a check register, and this was a very wonderful experience there, that some of them decided that they're not going to move out because they know how much it costs to live on their own now.
In the future, it'd help us like with the financial problems and the housing and everything that we had to go through.
You can instantly see the results when the students, as they're leaving the day, they're talking with each other and they're talking about, man, I'm not going to ask my parents for so much money anymore, and shoes are really expensive, and they're realizing the actual cost of everything and how it all kind of plays into a budget during a month of just being 1 month as an adult.
Why doesn't this add up? Oh well. What a great program that teaches students about personal finance and responsibility. The hands-on experience of their purchasing power will pay dividends in the future. Back to you, Alvaro and Marshaye. Let's see. I bought a pair of shoes last week and some CDs the week before.
It's hard not to notice the sense of community shared amongst students and staff here at Emalie Rangel Young Women's Leadership School. This past fall, students and their moms participated in the first annual Mother-Daughter Fashion Show, and coming up in April will be the return of a very successful event that began last year, the Emalie Rangel Father-Daughter Dance.
In addition, practice is just starting for the Rangel Panther lacrosse team. Under the guidance of Emalie Farr, the team is poised to begin competitive play later this spring.
Our lacrosse team has been in existence for 3 years. We continue to expand and grow, having more and more girls interested in coming out to play each year. Lacrosse is a lot of running. It's basically like soccer. They have to run up and down the whole field. So it really is important that they stay in shape. A lot of the girls have started, exercising and running outside of school. They're wanting to eat better, drink more water. So that's definitely a good influence for them.
Earlier in the show, we traveled along with students to Washington, D.C., who shared a unique learning experience. Now, here's a story of another fascinating trip taken by Dallas ISD students, and even some from right here at Emalie Rangel.
But this trip takes us farther, much farther, as we cross an ocean and travel all the way to Italy for an interesting lesson in both science and culture. Here's Trenton and Emalie to tell us more about it.
Picture this, a group of city girls from Dallas set off to a small town in Italy for a lesson in particle physics. Sound impossible?
Not really, because that's exactly what a group of girls from Lincoln High School and Rangel Young Women's Leadership School did just last summer. Thanks to the Foundation for the Education of Young Women and the World Classroom Organization, these young ladies learned a lesson that started right here in Dallas and made it all the way to Italy. It truly was the trip of a lifetime.
But I don't get it. Why Italy?
That's the interesting part.
That's right, you were in on this project from the beginning, weren't you?
Absolutely, and I knew it was going to be special right from the start. The project began with Lincoln physics instructor Darren Carollo, who decided he wanted to use particle physics experiments to get his students thinking both logically and creatively.
One of the major objectives was to get these students out of this classroom and out into the world as far as possible so they'd be completely unfamiliar with their surroundings. And it's part of the belief system that we have at the World Classroom that putting students in a foreign environment allows them to develop into leaders of other people.
Each Dallas student was teamed with 2 Italian students in Pavulo, Italy.
The teams were assigned to demonstrate a basic principle of particle physics by creating a model that could be easily disassembled and reassembled.
The idea was to create new matter or represent creating new matter, so when the gumball hit the fixed target, it exploded and the little pieces represented the new matter.
Over the course of the spring semester, the girls communicated with their Italian partners by video conferences and email.
Working with the students in Italy, it was pretty easy, not as hard as I thought because most of them speak very fluently in English, so it was pretty easy. And what they didn't understand, their friends translated back and forth.
They also heard from a native of Italy who taught them about the currency, language, and culture of the country. After lots of hard work and preparation, the girls were off to Europe.
They took in the sights in London and Venice, including a water taxi, a traditional cheese factory, and had the opportunity to make intricate Venetian masks.
After that, they went to the small working class town of Pavello in northern Italy. They got to stay in the family homes, go to their school, and enjoy their food, which turned out to be a little different from what they are accustomed to.
I ordered some pepperoni pizza, because that's the only pizza that I eat. And the father ordered some salami pizza. So when the policeman came to the door and I had seen the pepperoni pizza, I opened it up and the father, he was like, "You want pepperoni?" And I was like, "Yes." So he handed me a box that had red, yellow, and green peppers all over the pizza. That's what a pepperoni pizza is.
The girls got to know the families and learned an important lesson.
The whole experience, I think, really broadened my view and my imagination about what is out there, that the whole world isn't just, what we're used to.
That's so true. There's a whole big world out there beyond Dallas, and this group of girls from Lincoln and Rangel got to experience it firsthand.
I know these girls appreciate Mr. Carollo and the Foundation for the Education of Young Women for this once-in-a-lifetime experience. For Schools on Dallas, I'm Trenton.
And I'm Emalie. Back to you guys.
A big Schools on Dallas congratulations goes out to Samantha Montoya, a 4th grade student at the Sidney Lanier Expressive Arts Vanguard, who recently won 3rd place in the 11th annual AT&T Cotton Bowl Art Contest in both the 3rd and 4th grade divisions.
She had an amazing entry in the 4th grade, and I think it was with 2 football players and the crowd in the background. Really colorful, really outstanding piece of work. Well, we think it's very important to recognize, these young kids when they do something outstanding like this. It lets them know that hard work, will help them achieve their goals. And it's important to show off, what our kids here in Dallas can do.
This is quite an accomplishment, as more than 3,600 pieces were submitted by students in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. The winning artwork is on display at Texas Scottish Rite Hospital for Children. Way to go, Samantha! For Schools on Dallas, I'm Gracie.
Thanks, guys. That must have been quite the experience.
Check this out, Marshaye. Here at Rangel, each student receives a laptop computer to help in their studies with math and science.
Awesome! For our last story today on Schools on Dallas, we're going to introduce you to the STEP team at Pearl C. Anderson Middle Learning Center in sunny South Dallas. Students there are expressing themselves through performance arts and serving as positive role models in the community. Here's Jessica to tell us all about it.
Welcome to Pearl C. Anderson Middle Learning Center, where some energetic students are busy getting ready for an upcoming performance. They're the PCA STEP team, ambassadors for the school, who bring their positive message and amazing moves to the community.
The STEP team at Pearl C. Anderson basically is a group of students who vary from different grades, 6th grade through 8th grade. They love to dance, and this is a form of dance, African style form of dance called stepping. Nowadays, STEP is more or less a way for kids to communicate independence and definitely pride. If you attend STEP shows, you will hear a lot of students doing chants about their school, about their team, about where they're from, about who they are. Through stepping, it gives you the freedom of basically telling the world who you are in your own little rhythmic way, if you will.
Now break it down now.
What I like about performing, because I like to shine my best in front of everybody, because I like for everyone to know me.
Well, I love getting attention, and it helps me because when I see the crowd and they clapping before we go on the stage, it hypes me up and just makes me full of energy.
Oh, it's fun. It's really fun because all the people compliment you and see how enthusiastic you can get, and like how most when I move my hair and people just compliment me. Like that, I move my hair when I step like that. It's just so fun.
In order to be on my team, your grades have to be exemplary. Our theme is have fun through step, discipline through step. Stepping isn't just fun, you learn through step.
It helps me to stay out of trouble, and it encourages me to keep my grades up because I want to be on a step team.
We rep that PCA, so act like you know.
It's positive. My family loves to compliment me. Tell my son, you should see my baby on stage stepping, and the people in the community say, that's a step team, y'all did very good, and I just love when people encourage us to do better and we do a good job.
We're in the southern sector of Dallas, and a lot of times there's a lot of negative attention drawn to this area. And I think it's important that my students and more or less the students of the school are seen in a positive light. And through the STEP team, I think they're given that opportunity. It's even more important that the people in this community themselves see that there are people who are representing you in a positive light. And maybe even that it will, shine a light on them to follow, let us be a catalyst to maybe embark upon them to, to do the same thing.
As you can see, the STEP team here at Pearl C. Anderson is going strong and showing no signs of slowing down. If you get the chance to see them perform, trust me, you won't want to miss it. For School Zone Dallas, I'm Jessica.
Well, that just about wraps it up for this edition of School Zone Dallas. Our heartfelt thanks goes out to Principal Ms. Vivian Taylor and to everyone here at Irma Lerma Rangel Young Women's Leadership School for their gracious hospitality.
For more information on Irma Lerma Rangel, visit the Dallas ISD website at www.dallasisd.org. Please feel free to contact the school at 972-749-5200 for more information.
Also, we'd like to send out a special thanks to Mr. John Eagle and the John Eagle family of dealerships for sponsoring tonight's show. Thanks so much, Mr. Eagle.
Please be sure to join us for our next broadcast. We'll learn about our environment through an important message from the city's Stormwater Management Group. As well, check in on many other success stories found throughout the Dallas Independent School District.
Until then, we'll see you back here
in the zone.